So what's going on with the markets? Absolute insanity. As of the making of this video, the futures of the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 are down heavy. We might see a very bloodbath style day. Right now, of course, everything can change, but let's try to make sense of this chaotic, crazy market. I apologize again for the lack of quality of production. As you can see, I'm traveling. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to post videos every single day for the next few days, but I'm going to try and make it as much as possible. I want to jump on here for a couple of minutes and help you to make sense of this craziness and chaos, because this is not a pleasant time to be in the market. Obviously, I understand that. So what happened yesterday that basically causing this bloodbath style reaction in the futures? So yesterday, out of the blue, of course, we're not surprised anymore because this keeps happening on a daily basis right now. A new piece of information comes out of the administration about new restrictions, and this time it's Nvidia getting the brunt of the hit, but also the entire semiconductor sector. Now, the US government just announced, and Nvidia came out and let us know, that from now on, the H20 chips, the ones that were allowed to be sold to China, but Nvidia, they were sort of seen as kind of the bypass to the restrictions. Obviously, Nvidia cannot sell H100s. They cannot sell, obviously, H200s to China because of the restrictions. But Nvidia was allowed to supply the Chinese with the H20, which is a very subdued version of the H100. And right now, it just came out. Nvidia pulled out this thing in the middle of the day. They've submitted an 8K, and they said, look, from now on, the government wants us to register H20 for license applications. Essentially, the loophole that allowed Nvidia to sell these H20s to China has now been closed, and from now on, this is also part of the restrictions list. Nvidia says they expect at least $1 billion of revenue to get wiped out because of this, and they're also saying they're sitting on $5.5 billion of inventory, which they don't know what's going to happen with. Obviously, the stock tanked in after hours. Naturally, and on the heels of that, we've also seen ASML miss revenues, which is a massive company in the semiconductor space, more on the manufacturing side. But again, they've missed revenues, and they've also blamed the tariffs and the uncertainty and all the craziness. Although I'm not sure their case, that would be a good reason, because the earnings basically were generated a lot before the tariffs. But in any case, you have ASML with a slight miss, and then you have Nvidia getting slapped with these restrictions. And people are also saying, well, the same thing is going to happen with AMD, so people are dumping AMD. So the entire semiconductor sector is selling off. I mean, look, folks, when you have abrupt rule changes like this, you just add on more and more and more regulatory risk on top of companies. And the last thing anybody wants to see in this market is more uncertainty. And what happened yesterday with Nvidia getting slapped with the restrictions on the H20s is even more uncertainty. Now, a long term, I don't think this slows down Nvidia one bit. I think they're still a behemoth. I still think they're massive, a huge company that's going to benefit the AI revolution, probably if not in the top 3, in the top 5 of companies over the next 10 years. I think that short term, this is not something to be ignored or at least discounted. Let's kind of put it on the table. Short term, it's a big deal. It's a major bump. And I think it's going to be painful, and it's going to cause a lot of volatility in the stock. But long term, I don't think that matters. But I think there's a lot of pain to be expected for the entire semiconductor space if now the restrictions on China become even more harsh. That means sales to China by these semi producers, which were a significant part of their business, now potentially go away, or at least there's a risk of them going away. And whereas the risk comes in, the price comes down. We know how it works. More uncertainty, the prices drop. I think that the entire semiconductor sector is going to take a huge hit short term because of this, and at the very least, it's going to be very volatile. I think that right now, what we're seeing is a completely bipolar market. One day we have stocks rising 20% because Trump says one thing. The other day we have stocks drop 20% because Trump says something else. And maybe sometimes it's absolutely the opposite of each other. Completely contradicting things. It's very hard to predict this. As a long-term investor, obviously, you have to look beyond the daily volatility and the daily news cycle. You have to understand that volatility is not risk. It's just a feature. It's not a bug, all right? Obviously, traders are going to be posting memes, how much money they're making in this market. I have a friend who's a professional trader. and he's absolutely making bank right now with this volatility. For newer investors, people who just kind of joined the market over the past year or 6 months or a few months, this can be really nerve-wracking. I totally understand that, and I understand why. I think that you have to all remember that the bipolar feature of the market right now actually goes in both ways. So as much as Trump says bad things or his administration says bad things and the market tanks, one little statement by Trump can change everything. So it also happens to the flip side. And if we get some new trade deals announced with major partners, this can completely flip the market. And that can happen almost instantaneously. And if you're out of the market waiting on the sidelines to see what happened, you're going to miss out on that. I think in general, it's safe to say that until we have more clarity about what's going on with tariffs and the policy and in general, you can expect a lot more chaos in this market. I think that's a given. Traders absolutely love this. I understand. But I also tell you that experienced long-term investors from my community, they're loving this. They're seeing now potential opportunities to acquire companies at huge discounts because of this volatility. And some of the best opportunities, they come during times of crisis and times of fear. So traders love it. Experienced investors love it. Who doesn't love it? Who hates this? Well, if you're a newcomer to the stock market, and you've just joined recently and you're now looking at this and you look at this as a huge problem. I get it, right? For you, you haven't seen crisis, you haven't seen pullbacks. All you've seen for the past 2 years, just the market keeps going up. So new investors absolutely getting hammered right now, emotionally, psychologically, they don't know what to do. You're confused, you're trying to figure out, oh my God, what should I do? Should I sell out? Should I wait? Well, I always say this, and I want to be kind of clear on this. Staying out of this market is never a good idea. We've shown research that waiting out the storm on the sideline and not investing and jumping in when the market starts picking up again is going to slash your returns by half. It's absolutely guaranteed. So staying out of the market is not an option, but also staying all in with this kind of volatile market is also a bad idea because there's a lot of risk. So how do you handle this? Well, you can use a lot of strategies to de-risk your portfolio, to kind of add more insurance. There's a lot of strategies which you can use to mitigate the current volatility and still stay invested and still continue to dollar cost average and all that stuff. We teach all these things in our academy. And I know a lot of people have joined recently. We've had 2,500 new members joined over the past 48 hours. You can join on patreon.com/Tom Nash. We have a few final spots left. Would love to see you there. We're actually switching to a better platform with more lessons. We're completely revamping everything. Prices go up in a couple of days. If you join now, you get to grandfather forever and keep your original price. Would love to see you in the academy. Come with us, learn with us how to DCA, how to navigate this, how to become a better investor. And at the end of the day, I'm here to help you guys become a better investor. I'm not here to give you stock tips. It's not about me telling you, hey, sell now, buy now. We just had a Zoom call yesterday for 2 hours at 4 p.m. and people came on. 200 people stayed there with me, and we talked about strategies and how we can handle this. And people voiced their opinions when we had a conversation. It's a really collaborative space. The Discord is very active. You can come in, and people will kind of help you. And if you're newer investors, nobody's going to judge you. Think of it like a gym when you go there and you're out of shape, but everybody who's in shape, they're there to help you. Nobody's judging you. Nobody's trying to make fun of you. It's a very supportive community. Would love to see you there, of course. And as far as the market, just stay cool. Stay cool, mitigate the risk. Be cautious, but stay invested, slowly dollar cost average, and kind of keep your head in the swivel. And, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel for updates, I hope I can post tomorrow again. I'm very, very busy traveling, but I'll do my best. Thank you guys, and apologize for the bad production quality. I'll be in the office in a few days.